Morning, fellas. It's 8 o'clock and we're about 82 in the garage. And it's a little cloudy, but nice and quiet. Got the new kit in. Here's the funny thing about it. If you read this, using the existing bumper mounting holes, the top edge of the tail pan as reference points carefully. Locate the slots, blah, 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 blah. And then we get down to here. And where is it? The noticed area is facing against the inner panel and pointing towards the rear quarter panel. See tail pan for example. Tail pan example. Hold the guide firmly against the inner panel and drill the 2/8 inch pilot holes and remove the guide, and now use the inner panel templates, which I have cut out, to locate the existing holes, blah, 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 blah. Okay, and that was this block. And the two holes they were talking about was this hole and then the center hole, this and this. As if you would take the templates and put them back, and you'll see it sit there and it says holes located from the wooden template, which would be the center one and this one. Now, let's get on with the new one, made by the same company. And we'll start slot and notches. Making sure that the notched area is facing against the inner panel and pointing towards the rear quarter panel. See tail pan for an example. Hold the guide firmly in placing in and drill the 1/8 inch pilot holes and remove the guide. Use the inner panel paper template now to locate the reference for the reference holes and everything, blah, blah, blah. Now the two holes are the two mounting holes. And then we use the paper template for the guide. That. Interesting that they would change it. But the new block has this. So went ahead and I made a cardboard template. And it lines up good. So, and I got these already cut out. There's the passenger side, this is the driver's side. So it looks like we're going to be cutting some holes, drilling some holes in the rear bumper guard or tail pan or whatever you want to call that. And get these in. But first I got to run down to Richards because in my hole saw collection I do not have an 1 7/8 hole saw. No, and that's what I'm going to drill the holes, so use an 1 7/8, so I got to run down to his house. So when I get this all done, we will mount these and check them out. I need to probably stop by AutoZone, get some light bulbs to make sure when I put it in reverse that she does come on, and so we'll take care of that. Also, Roger, that was an awesome video you made last night. The guy in the wheelchair. I think that was quite unique and quite cool of you to do. And you need to look at Ryder Down. He's up in McHenry, Illinois. Every time I go back to my brother, I try to visit my brother. I try to hook up with him, but to no avail. And he hasn't made a video in a long time, but he was doing that Nova out of a wheelchair. Also, Roger, I was waiting to ship these parts for you until I got a box, but thanks to Classic Industries, I got a box. And also I'm going to package up this kit, since your Camaro, not the one you're working on, but your personal Camaro, doesn't have the RS Rally Sport backup lights, and you can use this one then to put that in on your Camaro. And that's about it. So me babbling on. When I have more, I'll turn this back on later, guys. Hey fellas, I'm back from Richards. I got his 1 7/8 hole saw. So what I did is I used the block. This side went towards the quarter panel. It's this hole in this hole I drilled. 1/8 inch holes. And then I got 2 screws and mounted the template in, and then we'll do an 1/8 inch hole and drill that. Then I'll do a 1/4 inch, and then we'll do the hole saw. So that's where I'm at. We're doing one side at a time. Doing this side first, make sure it fits and my approach is right, and then we'll go from there. When I have more, I'll turn this back on later. Hey guys, it's drilled, but something was probably wrong with the template or nothing. I can get either this hole to line up on the light or this hole to line up on the light. I can't get them both, get it to slide in. So I'm going to take some red paint and mark up the top hole and put it in and see where it lines up on the bracket there, or on the inner panel, and we'll go from there. These template kits, you gotta love them. When I get more, I'll turn it back on later. Alright fellas, what I did is I went and got some red model paint, painted the end of the stud red, lined it up in here as best I could, and you can see roughly where the red paint is up there. So drill the hole bigger. So this is what I didn't want to do. That's why I spent the 30 bucks to get the template kit. I could have sat there and made my own template kit and hunt and peck this thing away like this. Doesn't make any sense. Why do you sell a product that doesn't work? Alright, so I'll decide on what I'm going to do, and then I'll go ahead and do it. And probably the simplest thing to do is drill a hole a little bit bigger, put a washer on it, and be done with it. Alright, when I have more, I'll turn this back on later. Hey fellas, well, it's in, but there's about 1/4 of an inch, 3/16, 1/4 of an inch on the bottom that she's not fitting all the way flush. But don't forget, there's a gasket that's got to go in there. Memory serves me right, I think that gasket's about an 1/8 inch or 3/16 of an inch thick. So I'm not going to do anything with that until I get the gaskets. I'll order those on Monday. I just had to oblong the hole a little bit. You see that? There. So I'm going to say this side's done for now. I'm going to get the gaskets in and see how they fit, and then we'll go from there. Now on to the driver's side. When I get more, I'll turn this on later. Hey fellas, this one fits a little bit better, but it's still a little gap down here, and I wonder it's because maybe there's that gasket that's going to keep it like that. But we did not do anything with except make this hole just a little bit bigger than a 1/4 inch. I made both of them bigger than 1/4 inch, but we made that one just a little bit bigger. Interesting. I chose to do the right side because I figured the left side was going to be a pain in the butt. Here the left side works better than the right side did. Go figure. Alright. So we're done test fitting those. Another thing I noticed is that the hole saw got in here and dented this up. I'm going to have to straighten that out. Thank God I'm doing this now. That's what a buddy of mine told me to do. He says, do this now, don't paint the car. And I'm glad I listened to him. So now we're going to clean up the wiring harness. The two with the leads on it are the backup lights. We have to check those circuits out. This orange one that you're looking at is the third brake light, and this one here is if I wanted to put a light in the trunk. I'm going to cut these off, tape the ends, and wrap them back up into this loom. Then we're going to get the car in reverse, turn on the ignition, and check the circuit on the backup lights. And that's all I have planned for today. So when I get more, I'll turn this back on later. Hey fellas, just a quick update. This green lead will go to CVX right there. That's where the backup light will come in. I left a lot of wire excess, so when it comes in, we'll make the joint and then tie it off. This one was short. I just used a solderless connector, some heat tape, and this one will go over to this point. I haven't measured it out yet, but it's roughly right there. So we'll get that wrapped up in some insulation and drag it over there. Once we get it over there, then we're going to check both wires, make sure the circuit is complete for the backup lights, and that'll call it a day for me, except clean up the mess I made on the tool bench. So when I get more, I'll turn this on later. Alright, wiring's tied up, license plate, left backup light, right backup light. X marks the spot where it's going to come up through. Same on this side. Both sides I cut the wire a little long. I'd rather have it long than short. So I'm going to turn on the ignition. Let's check these out and see if they are. Sit you guys down here. I don't know if you're going to be able to see. But here's the test light. All right, lights up. Pass your side lights up. Okay. Now let's turn the ignition off. Or better yet, turn the ignition off and take the car out of reverse, or just turn the ignition off. Then we'll just check this one. Nothing. Okay. Bear with me, guys. We're going to take it out of reverse and turn the ignition on. It's out of reverse. It's in the fourth. Okay, that completes the backup lights. Cool. So that more or less ties up everything back here, except for when I get the gaskets and this gets painted. And then of course we have the body work to do on this one right here. Never a dull moment here. So that's where we're at. Well, I have completed everything I wanted to do today. Pretty much so. I got to run that back down to Richard's house. And I got a box, so I'm gonna start boxing up your stuff there, Roger. Probably spend time in here and do it today. And then sometime next week we'll get it shipped off to you. Also, I'm going to give you this kit, the new one that I got, that because you said your personal Camaro doesn't have the the backup lights, so I'll give you those. Let's see what else. So tomorrow's Sunday. I don't think I'm going to be out here tomorrow because the next phase of this is, let's go over here. Is all that wiring. Now there's one set of wires. See the purple set? Hold on. Let me get it. Sorry about the shaky cam, guys. But this is for the neutral safety. If we disconnect this, the car won't run. My sons and I have been toying of putting in some type of kill switch, hidden kill switch, using that. We're not sure yet what we're going to do. I told him, I said it would be neat to sit there and put a numerical pad in the dash and do a 4-number sequence like a pin number, and that's the only way that you got to punch that in and then put the key in and start the car. That's the only way you can do that. But we're kicking around that. The rest of this stuff is for the heater and the stereo and everything else, so yeah, we want to get this all wrapped up and get that taken care of. Then we're going to start ordering the Dynamac kits and start getting the interior going. So we're not going to do anything on the headlights or the parking lights because the car isn't painted yet, and that's where we're at on that. So, also, we're going to take the deck lid off. We're going to replace that spring for the spoiler and get that done. Now that we got all the wiring straightened out back here. So that's all I got. You guys have a good weekend, rest of your weekend. Always thanks for watching, leaving comments. Have a good one. Later.